For this video, we're going to be looking at the number tools. So there's lots of different ways Excel can format numbers. So let's start with a couple numbers here. We'll start with a fraction. We'll start with a larger number. We'll start with maybe just a very simple number. So let's start with these three. So let's first see what happens when we use some of the shortcut keys here. So let's see what happens when we hit the dollar sign. So it just formats it, and it gives, what it does is it rounds it to two places and it puts a dollar sign in front. So it's just like if you have a currency or some sort of dollars. So you could also do it for the euro or for other currencies. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just go back to the general number format for all of these. Okay, so now let's look at what happens when we do percentage. So I want you to pay close attention to what happens when we what happens when we do the 0.5. So 0.5 is 50%. So whenever you convert a decimal and you hit that percentage number, it's actually just displaying the value of 0.5 as a percentage. So if you typed in 0.75 and did that, it would give you 75%. But the weird part though is now though, if I type in 0.5 in the top, it's going to stay at actually 0.5%. It's actually rounding in this case. So that actually brings us to our rounding number here. So we can either increase the decimal or decrease the decimal here to show more places in the Excel spreadsheet. So that's what was going on there. It was decreased, so it was rounding up to 1%. So again, decimals and percentages are a little bit weird, so you have to make sure you keep track of that. So let's go ahead and turn it back to general. And you can see when we went back to general, now this is 0.5% goes back to 0.005, not to our original 0.5. Okay, so now let's look at what this comma means. All the comma does is it gives you a thousand separator. And it also rounds to 2 decimal points. So that's what that comma style does. All right, great. So let's go ahead and back to general. Now, those are sort of the shortcut keys. Then there's even more things that you can do in here. So we can just format it as a regular number. So that's what that is. Currency we did. Accounting we did a little bit. We'll go over short date, long date, and time in a second. We already did percentage. You can also do fraction. So you can do some things with that. You can do scientific notation, which is always really nice. So let's go ahead and do some dates. So let's type in a couple different dates. So let's type in just the first of the year. We can type in also and let's type in one last date as okay, so let's see so Excel, what's nice about it, sometimes nice about Excel is it recognizes this as a date and it already formatted it for me as a date. But we can make it so it displays all the dates the same way. We can also make it so it displays long dates, so you can see that. And then the other thing we can do is make it display as a time. So the dates will display as time, it just won't give you some things. So dates are something you're going to have to get really familiar with, especially in the energy programs here. So let's look a little bit more about what date selections we have. So again, what I did is I clicked on this tiny little box at the bottom right of the number thing. And so there's lots of different dates we can do. We can even put the time in with the date, which is something that I like to do because when we're looking at utility data or something in the energy field, a lot of times that's what we need. So dates are really, really important, and it's something that we really want to be able to see here. Okay, I want to cover one other thing with this. So let's say we have a relatively large number here. And then let's say for some reason we make the column smaller. You see these little numbers here? All that means is that the column is not wide enough to display that number. So Excel automatically truncates it by putting just these number symbols there. So you might see this sometimes, and you might even when you copy or paste or do something like that. When you make it wider, the number appears. So don't be thrown off when the number symbols appear like this. Make sure you just make the column a little wider. And so you can see that happens with the dates as well. So it's just something you want to keep in mind for that. So that is the number tab. It's a very basic overview. The other thing we could do is special or custom. You can do a lot of different things with this, and we'll go over that as we need to. Thanks for watching.